guys, welcome back to another episode of What the Smut Book Review. This makes me a little eyebrow wiggle. Hi, thank you for joining me for another episode. My name is Candace and I'm your host. As always, I don't know what I was gonna say. As always, I don't know what I'm gonna say. That's actually pretty accurate. Anyway, in today's video, we are going to be reviewing a book. I can't remember where this was suggested to me from. It was definitely on Facebook somewhere. I want to say it was probably a Facebook ad, but if that's true, author, you definitely got the bang for your buck because they got me. They got me. The book that I will be reviewing for you guys today is a book called Hard Code by author Misha Bell. And I literally was this years old when I found out that Misha Bell is apparently the pen name for two authors who co-wrote this book. Anna's, how do you pronounce the last name? Zaries? Anna Zaries? I hope I'm not fucking that up. And Dima Zales, I think. Anyway, it's a pairing of two authors. They wrote this book together under the pen name Misha Bell. The book is called Hard Code. I already said that, but I tend to repeat myself a lot. So, the book has 328 pages, which is pretty standard, I think, for like a novel, right? You can currently get it for sale on your Kindle or Nook for $4.99, which is not a bad price. You can get the paperback for this book for $12.99. I'm assuming based on that price that it's probably going to be like one of those bigger trade paperbacks instead of like a little mass market joint. There is going to be a sequel to this book. Thank you, Lord. Because the main male character has two siblings. And I was like, ooh, I hope they get books. And it looks like at least one of them is going to get a book. The next one in this series is called Hardware. And allegedly, according to Amazon, it will be released on April 27th, 2021. Which is obviously the year that we're in. So, yeah, I can't wait for that. I'm actually super excited to read that. I will read you guys the little blurb. It is quite short. It's like a little snippet, but I will, as usual, break down what the book is about in as coherent terms as I can, as I am capable of doing, and tell you more about the book, because isn't that why we're here? Is that why you're here? So yeah, the little blurb that I copied from Amazon says, "My new assignment at work, test out toys." Yep, that kind. You know what kind. Well, technically, it's to test the app that controls the toys remotely. One problem, the showgirl who's supposed to test the hardware, as in the actual toys, joins a nunnery. We're going to get to that because what are the odds? Another problem, this project is important to my Russian boss, the broody, mouth-wateringly sexy Vlad, aka the Impaler. There's only one solution: test both the software and the hardware myself with his help. Okay, y'all. I find myself sometimes when I'm reading like a really good book, and when I say a really good book, I mean a book that I plan on rereading more than one time. I find myself having like little random giggles at certain parts, but very rarely do I legit LOL. This book, I laughed out loud numerous times. It was the most hilarious book I've read in an age, okay? Like in a hot minute. So the book is written from the POV of the main female character. There's like a little epilogue towards the end that's written by the POV of the male character, which is fine. I'm okay with that. I'm cool with that. The basic premise to this book is the main female character, whose name is, unfortunately, I'm sad to say, Fanny Pack. Fanny, last name Pack. Okay. So she is the main female character, and she works for a company that creates like software. I'm vague on that. I can't remember. But her boss, his name is Vlad. He is Russian. He is a hottie McHotterson. And this project that she has been assigned to work on is extremely near and dear to him and very important for one of their clients. Spoiler alert, the client is his sister, who has developed this range of toys. And Vlad's company is in charge of the software, basically, or the app that is supposed to control the toys remotely. So essentially, you could be the person whom the hardware is being tested on, could be in one state, and say their long distance boyfriend in the other side of the country could get on this app and control the vibrations of your doodad, right? Yeah. So Fanny is in charge of basically testing how the software and the hardware work together. She had hired a girl to do that, who is either like a showgirl or an escort or something. Anyway, she's already into like the sexy side of whatever. And so she was like, no big deal. You pay me, I'll do this for you. So apparently this ex showgirl, whatever, has had a change of heart and realized that the error of her ways as a sinner and has decided to join a nunnery. And so her little tester girl falls through, and Fanny is left holding the bag and going, OMG, what am I supposed to do now? Because I need someone to test these products out, but I got nobody. I guess I gotta do it myself. Right? So she does. And she has a suitcase full of toys that she takes home, and she gets on the app, and she decides, the first thing I think I'm gonna try is not like a vibrator, or let's test out some little nipple clamps. Let's do it. No, the first thing she decides to test out is a butt plug that vibrates and moves on its own. I think in like Russian, they broke it down as like the name of it is like the squirrel or something. So she puts the butt plug in, and then on her phone, she starts trying to control it. There's a glitch in the software, and the butt plug gets stuck in her butt. So she's freaking out, and she's like, oh my God, what am I supposed to do? Okay, I'm gonna go to customer support, and I'm gonna call this number that's listed to see if they can tell me how to get it out of my ass. So she calls while she's having a freak out, and then she's like talking to herself, and she doesn't realize that someone has answered the phone until she hears a man's voice telling her basically, sit tight, don't fucking move, I'm gonna be there in 5 minutes, I'm taking you to the emergency room. And then she realizes, oh shit, the person on the other end of the phone is my boss, Vlad the Impaler. Throughout the book, she like makes jokes of because his name is Vlad, and like, whatever. So she's obviously duly mortified. He comes in his little stretch limo, sexy self, and he picks her up, takes her to the emergency room where they extract the butt plug. So they use like an x-ray machine so that they can use the software to like back the squirrel out without damaging any internal bits. And they manage to get it out. She is horrified that her boss is like not in the room as this is happening, but like waiting for her outside, but knows what happened. Yeah, so essentially she explains the situation about what happened. He's like, how did you get yourself into this mess? And she's like, well, I had this girl, but she fell through. She decided she was going to become a nun. And I can't pay someone to do it. So I just decided I'll do it myself. And I did it myself. And I obviously got myself into a little jam, but the rest will be fine. Don't worry about it. Okay. And he's like, okay, because it's supposed to be done remotely and one person is supposed to be controlling another person's pleasure, why don't I help you with this? And you can control the male toys that I'll test on myself, and I'll control the female toys that you test on yourself, and we'll do it together. And okay, so essentially they both saw each other prior to all of this happening, and like there was like a little zing, like, oh damn, he's cute. I think it was like in a Starbucks or like in a coffee house or something. They saw each other. They didn't know who they were, and neither one knew that the other one had seen them. Does that make sense? But like Fanny was like there with her friend, and she like took a picture of him because she was like, ooh, that guy's hot. And then later on it turns out he's a boss. Or like she knew it was her boss, and she took a picture anyway because she was like, yeah. I don't think he knew who she was. And then he took a picture of her, like a candid shot of her when she wasn't looking at the coffee house. And he was like, girl, you fine. And so that's why later on he he initiates that let's do this together type of thing. So anyway, so they start out on like Zoom meeting calls, where, like they keep the camera like up here, but like down below they're doing stuff, you know what I mean? So they each decide to take turns testing products, and the other one will use the app to control what's happening down below to the other person. So there's like a lot of sexual tension, especially, okay, maybe it's just me. Being a woman, I don't get, like, I understand what happens in the female mind when, like, you climax, right? So getting a peek into, even if it's written by a female author, getting a peek into what goes on in the male mind when they're either attracted to someone or they're having like their little tete-a-tetes or whatever, like, or like when they're having like a sexual situation, being inside the male character's mind is such a turn on for me. It is ridiculous. And like, even though this book was written from the point of view of the female character, she's describing what she's seeing on the Zoom meeting and like his O face and like, and I'm just like, I don't know. I can't explain it. It's just something about like hearing like that he's groaning and hearing that like he's getting flushed and he's getting like, and I'm just like, oh my God, I am also. Right? Anyway, maybe that's just me, but whatever. So the book basically goes on like that for a bit, where they're taking turns, and in the meantime, they're texting each other, they're chatting with each other, they're doing whatever, and they're hanging out, and they form like an attachment, and she gets to meet like his family, and he unexpectedly in like a ridiculous meeting of like, oh, I just walked in while you're pleasuring yourself with but my parents, right? Okay. Like American Pie type style. Okay. Yeah. And then he gets to meet her parents that way, and they form an attachment, and then they realize that they're just like, okay. So it is essentially, this book is a contemporary romance that is a rom-com. And I have heard the term rom-com when it comes to movies. I did not know that people actually called books that are like this a rom-com. Also new information for me. But if I had to say, yes, it is a rom-com. It is So fucking cute and adorable. I can't even. So for the rating for the book, I gave it a solid 9. If it had been longer, I may have even given it a higher rating. I don't know. 328 pages. I could have done with more pages. I probably could have read another 100 pages. I loved this book. I love a good, funny, lighthearted romance novel. And just give me the sex. Like, make it funny and give me the sex, and you've got me for life. I have read, I want to say 1 or 2 other books by Anna Zaries. I think the other author I've never even heard of. So I'm gonna have to. And I can't wait for April 27th because I need the sequel for this book. Stat. Not only did I read this book on my Kindle, but I also listened to the audio version. I kind of meshed the two, if that makes sense. So when I work, I'm like working from home and I'm on my computer and I can't really, obviously I can't hold a book, right? So during those times I would listen for the audible version or the audio version. And the girl who reads the book or like reads as Fanny, I actually was okay with her voice. And this is like a thing for me. I don't know why. I can't, the audio, a narrator for an audiobook can make or break the book for me. If I seem like I'm into the book itself, but I just can't get past the narrator's voice or the way that their like speech patterns are, I will literally put the audio down and go buy the book because I know that I will enjoy it more reading it myself than listening to it on audio version. With this book, it was pretty much equal. I really enjoyed listening to the audio version as well. So I'm just throwing that out there. If you want to get the audio version, if you don't have time to sit down and like, because I have a 4-year-old and a bakery business and I have a 9-to-5 on a computer and I have a husband who's constantly asking me to get him things from around the house that his 2 legs can get him, but we'll talk about that later. So I don't have a lot of time to like sit down and like block out, right? So audiobooks are good for me sometimes. And this time it worked out really well. So in short, now that I've given you my full life story, I would highly recommend this book to anyone who enjoys a good rom-com. I would highly recommend this book to anyone who likes contemporary romance and is just looking for something lighthearted. Like, you know how people use the phrase like, oh, I need a good beach read or something like that, like for the summertime. Like, this is it. This is it. Read it. So yeah, that's it. I think I'm done. Have I babbled enough? 20 minutes? Yeah. So if you like me and you like my channel, let me do my spiel. If you like me and you like my channel, please consider subscribing. If you do subscribe, make sure you hit that little bell so you get notifications when I upload a new video. You can also keep up with new video updates, giveaway updates, things like that. If you follow me on social media, I do have a members only Facebook group, an Instagram, and a Twitter devoted to this channel. I try and remember to post on the Twitter because I honestly forget about it. Like I find the short number of characters you're allowed to have in a status fucking ridiculous, but so it makes me not want to use it. But I am on Twitter. And yeah, I think that's it. Anyway, shout out to the 2 authors who wrote this book. Y'all done it. You done it. And yeah, that's it. I'll see you guys in my next video. I really appreciate you guys watching. And I'll see you next time. I love you so much. Bye. Hello, my loves. Welcome back to another episode. I feel like the shirt is choking me. Anyway. Okay, my mom called. I had to hang up. Okay. Where the fuck was I at? Because why y'all do this to me? My brain is already terrible. The last thing I need is distraction. Okay. I think that they do like an x-ray to see where it is, and that way they can like back it out safely with the controls of the thing. Sit tight, because he could be a while. He's gonna take a drink, so I'm gonna take a drink. It's just tea. It's not tea. I know you guys are getting tired of like my rabbit escapades over here, but I don't want to move him to another room, so we just got to deal with it, don't we? Put on our big girl panties and deal with that. Ist thou done? You done? You done? Did you quench your thirst? Good. Okay. Anyway, where was I? Oh my God, immediate deflation. I ran out of storage. Again, I haven't had this problem in a hot minute where I ran out of storage, but apparently it's back. So I'm gonna have to do something about that. Okay. Okay. Get my eyes from fucking up over here. Just literally bleeding eyeliner over here. Literally.